my name's Lorraine. I am a trauma-informed yoga teacher at Edinburgh Community Yoga. This is a 15-20 minute mat-based yoga practice that you can do at home. You don't need to have done any yoga before to take part, and you don't need any special clothes. You can wear your shoes, you can wear your socks. You don't even really need a mat. If you're not sure, you can try this practice on your own, or you can try it with somebody that you trust, so maybe a friend or a key worker, therapist. And I definitely recommend that you have a chat with whoever it is that supports you, if you have support, as you do this practice. Sometimes practicing yoga can bring up feelings or sensations that might be uncomfortable. So I really would encourage you to talk to those people that support you if that is the case for you. The most important thing is to know that you have choice over how you move and breathe, and to remember that practicing yoga can be a useful way to help to bring our awareness to the present moment and to sometimes make us feel a little bit more aware of what's happening in the here and now. So you can begin, you can sit cross-legged, you can sit with your legs stretched out in front of you, you can bend your knees, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to sit with my legs crossed. But wherever you are, you might just start to think about bringing a little bit of length to the front of your body. So maybe imagining that the top of your head could move towards the ceiling. And you might notice that that creates a bit of a sense of some more space at the front of your body. And as you sit here, perhaps sitting as still as feels possible for you, which might not be completely still, but that is okay. You can have your eyes open or closed. And there's a possibility here to notice how it feels to breathe in and breathe out. If the breath is not feeling comfortable, then bringing awareness to the sense of your body on the mat. Or maybe you can start to take your upper body in some circles. Moving as much or as little as feels possible for you. You might go in one direction, you might go in the other. You could bring your hands to your knees as you move here. And then when you're ready, be coming to sit upright. You might walk your right fingertips out to one side, and you could bring your left hand to your hip. So how much you walk your right fingers out is up to you. Maybe leaning over to the right side a little, and you might notice a sense of stretching through the left side of your body. There is a possibility to reach your left arm up and over. Just being curious about any sense of stretching down the left side of your body. You could look towards the fingertips. And you might notice how it feels to breathe in and breathe out. The breath is feeling comfortable for you. Breathing into the side stretch. And when you're ready to, you can come all the way back up. And then we can change sides. So this time you might walk your left fingertips out to one side. You could bring your right hand to your right hip. Maybe leaning over towards the left side a little more. And you might notice that if your right hip wants to come up off the ground, see if you can think about your right sit bone staying on the mat. The hand could move from the hip to reach all the way up and over. Your choice, maybe looking to the fingertips. And maybe you can notice a sense of stretching or some sensation all the way down the right side of your body. You might breathe into the side stretch there. And then coming back up to sit. We could take a seated twist, so the left hand could come to the right knee. And you can choose to twist here, or you might look around, maybe moving the right hand around behind you. Just noticing the sense of twisting through the middle of your body. And you might choose to notice how it feels to breathe in and breathe out here. And then you can change sides when you want to, so the right hand can come to the left knee. Maybe twisting here, or maybe walking the left hand around behind you and looking around over your left shoulder. You might notice it feels a bit different on one side versus the other. Maybe it feels the same. It's your practice. Be breathing here and twist. And then coming back to center. We could reach up with our arms. So you might reach your arms some of the way up, or you might reach your arms all the way up. And there's an option here to fold forward. So it doesn't matter where your hands reach to. It's folding the hands forward. You could make the back of the neck long. And you might notice some sense of stretching in the hips here if your legs are crossed, and the backs of the legs if they're out straight. And then coming all the way back up to sit. You could come to your hands and knees here. So an option to come to your hands and knees. The hands can be hip width apart, shoulder width apart. The knees could be hip width. And maybe you can shift your weight from one side to the other, front to back here. Just moving in whatever way feels possible for you here. And you could be curious about how it would be to make space between your fingers, noticing each finger connected to the mat, maybe noticing the palms of the hands and the mat. And then from here you might start to arch and round your spine. Arching and rounding your spine. You can choose how much you move here. You might move a lot, or you might move so. Maybe you could lift the chin as you arch the spine. And maybe as you round the spine, pressing through your shoulder blades and pressing your hands into the mat, you could tuck your chin towards your chest. And you might work with the breath here, inhaling, arching, exhaling, rounding. That is an option. It's also an option to choose not to work with the breath. And let's do that 3 more times. Maybe just being curious about how much space you can notice in your body. So you might notice you can move a bit more as you do this. And then coming back to central position here. An option to stretch out your right leg. So you could stretch out your right leg, maybe pushing your heel out towards the wall behind you. If you'd like to, you could try lifting your right leg off the mat. And another option might be that you extend your left arm out. come back to bring the hands and knees to the floor. Changing sides if you'd like to, so this time the left leg reaches out behind you. You can extend your heel towards the wall behind you. You might lift your left leg off the ground. I'm choosing to keep mine on the floor. And you might extend your right arm out. These are all options. You can choose which one you do. And then coming back to neutral. And from here we can bring the big toes together. And you might start to fold forward a little. So the further away you take your knees from each other here, the more of a stretch you'll have through your hips. So you can choose. Maybe folding forward, you can let your forehead rest on the mat. You can rest it on your fists or a block or a cushion if you've got one. The hands can be in front of your head, or you could walk the fingertips out. Maybe letting the base of the spine, the sit bones sink towards the feet. Maybe you can notice all 10 fingers pressing into the mat here. Just noticing your hands connecting with the mat. If you'd like to, you might notice how it feels to breathe in and breathe out here, if the breath is feeling comfortable for you. And then when you're ready to, we can come back up to the hands and knees. And you might turn over your toes to make an upside down V shape, which we call downward facing dog. So you can bend your knees as much as you would like to. Maybe bending one leg, then the other. Letting go of any tension back of your neck. So you might let the back of your neck be long. Doesn't matter whether your heels go to the ground. Just really thinking about the fingers connecting to the mat or the floor. And then when you're ready, you can come back down onto your knees. And then coming all the way up to sit. You can take your legs out in front of you. And you might choose to bring your feet together. So you can bring your feet together, you can zip the big toes up. And maybe with your hands on your legs, you can notice how it feels if you extend your heels out in front of you. The legs might just get a little bit more active. You might reach up with your arms here, and maybe as you reach up with your arms, you could notice if you could also reach up through the sides of your body. And then there's an invitation here to try folding forwards, just as far as feels possible for you. So your hands might come to your knees, or your shins, or your feet. Doesn't matter, just folding forwards. Maybe you can make the back of your neck a little longer. You might notice some sensation in the lower back, or the backs of the legs here. Breathing in and breathing out. And then when you're ready, coming all the way back up to sit. And from here we could come down to lie down on the mat. And you might take your feet hip width apart, so you might take your feet away from each other a little. And from here you could see how it feels to lift your hips off the mat. So you might lift them just off the mat. You might wiggle your shoulders underneath you and lift them a little more. You can keep your head and neck still as you do this. Maybe imagining that you're holding a block between your knees. And then coming all the way down. And you might do that 2 more times. lifting your hips off the ground as far as feel possible. You can think about really pressing down through your toes, the big toes into the floor mat. And then coming all the way down. Maybe doing that one more time. Be lifting your pelvis, your hips off the mat, pressing through your feet. You might notice some sensation, the lower back, the hips, and the big muscles at the fronts of the leg here. And when you're ready, coming all the way back down. You could bring your knees in towards you. The hands could come to the fronts of the shins or the backs of the thighs. Maybe rocking side to side. You could notice how it feels to move front to back and side to side. Keeping your eyes open or closed. And then from here, you might let your knees drop all the way over to the right side. So perhaps keeping both shoulders down. You could take your right hand to your left leg. If you'd like, you could place a cushion underneath your right knee, maybe looking out over your left shoulder, maybe extending your arms. And you might notice how it feels to breathe in and out here. You could have your eyes open or closed. And then when you're ready, changing sides. So you could move your cushion to the other side. You can do this with or without the cushion. Be moving your hips towards the right side a little and letting your knees drop to the left side. You could reach out with your arms. See if you can get both shoulders down. You might look out over your right fingertips. Eyes open or closed. Maybe noticing how it feels to breathe in and breathe out here. And then when you're ready, you can bring the knees back to the middle. And we'll take the final part of our yoga practice, which is always to make time, to make space to be as relaxed as possible for us today, which is different on different days. So there's a possibility here that you could lie on your back. You could also sit in a chair or lie on your side. It's completely up to you. This is your practice. So please come to a place that is as comfortable as feels possible for you today. A place where you're as comfortable as feels possible today. You might think about whether or not you can let go of any tension in your jaw or face. So if you notice that the teeth are tight together, maybe you can make some space between them. You could notice the whole of the back of your body and the whole of the front of your body. Maybe noticing how it feels to breathe in and breathe out, if that is comfortable. Just letting yourself be here exactly as you are. Knowing that you can have your eyes open or closed, or you can move to come to sit at any point. Just taking a couple of moments here to rest. Maybe bringing your awareness to the top of your head. Middle of your chest. Your tummy. Your legs. Your arms. The whole of the back of your body. And the whole of the front of your body. And when you're ready, you might bring your knees in towards you. You might start to come up to sitting if you're not already sitting. And just coming to sit up. You can bring one hand to your chest and one to your stomach. Maybe just noticing where your hands rest, or noticing the breath in and out. Breathing down in the body as far as feels comfortable for you, if the breath is comfortable. Maybe you could bring your hands together, or you could cross them in front of your chest. Just thanking yourself for taking a little bit of time to move and breathe in your yoga practice. If you'd like to try out some other practices, there's some that you can use on the go, or there's some that you can do on a chair, then you can check them out on the rest of the website. My name's Lorraine, and we've got lots more resources on our free resource page at Edinburgh Community Yoga. You can jump over to the website and have a look.